Hello everyone, I hope you had a lovely weekend and you're staying well and happy and ready for another week at school. I thought I'd start assembly today with a riddle. I wonder if you can work out what I'm talking about. It can be solid, it can be runny. It's pure and sweet and tastes very yummy. When sore throats and colds make your throat ache, with hot water and lemon, some of this you could take. What do you think it is? Can you work it out? It can be solid and it can be runny. It's pure and sweet and tastes very yummy. And if you've got a sore throat, you can take this to make it better. Have you worked it out? It's honey. Honey that bees make. It could be solid honey, or it could be liquidy honey. It's very sweet. You can use it instead of sugar. And some people say that if you drink it when you've got a sore throat, it makes your throat feel a bit better. Bees make honey, don't they? And our assembly today is going to be all about bees. Now, as I'm sure you know, honey is made by bees. But there are lots and lots of different sorts of bees, and there's only one sort of bee that makes the honey that we use. A lot of the bees that we see at the moment are bumblebees, and they are quite big and they're quite chunky. They're often black with this orange or yellow stripe on them. Those are bumblebees. The honeybees that make honey are a lot smaller and a lot more delicate. They go around and they collect the nectar from flowers and they pollinate the flowers while they're doing it, but their main incentive is to make sure that they collect the nectar from the flowers. And they take that nectar back and turn it into honey in order to feed all of their little babies, all of the little baby bees. So that's why they make it back at their hive. What do you use honey for? So we've talked about using it if you've got a sore throat. Have a think about how you would eat honey. You can have honey instead of sugar. So if you don't want sugar on things, you can put honey on them as well. Some people put honey on toast as well. Can you think of a famous bear who really liked eating honey? Can you remember who it was? Winnie the Pooh, yeah. Winnie the Pooh was famous, but really enjoying big pots of honey. Really liked them. Back at their hive, they are really well organised because there are thousands and thousands of bees in every hive. So they have to be very well organised. They know exactly what they're doing, where they're going, and how they're going to make their honey, and which little bee grubs they need to feed. Now we're going to watch a little video all about how bees make honey.
Okay, time to head to work. But before this honeybee starts her commute, she's prepping her tools. Because honeybees collect pollen. You knew that. But it's not as simple as you might think. Plants want the bees to carry the pollen away and spread it to other flowers. That's pollination, how plants reproduce. But bees also need to carry lots of it home. Pollen is a protein-packed food for the hive. Luckily, they have the right gear. They're hairy, like tiny flying teddy bears. She's covered in 3 million hairs for trapping pollen. They're even on her eyes. Here on her legs, they're shaped into spiky brushes and flat combs. When she lands on a bloom, she really gets in there. Nibbling on the flower's anthers detaches the pollen. Time to pack up her haul. She cleans it off her eyes and antennae with those brushes on her front legs, like windshield wipers. Here it is up close. That leg wipes the pollen right off her eye. Then she moves the pollen from leg to leg, like a conveyor belt. Front to middle to back. The bee does this super fast while she flies from bloom to bloom, moving the pollen into special baskets on her back legs called corbiculae. She bends her leg, using it to squish the pollen into a ball, packing it together with a little saliva and nectar. She can get as many as 160,000 pollen grains into each ball. She's hauling as much as 1/3 of her weight. Back at the hive, meal prep is about to start. But the pollen isn't for making honey. The honey under this wax is made from nectar. They eat it for its sugar. Bees turn pollen into something completely different, bee bread. That's their source of protein. Step 1, find an open spot. Step 2, deposit your goods and pack them neatly. Step 3, let the pollen marinate with a hint of honey. And voila, it's ready. The pantry is stocked, both for adult bees and the babies that are growing in the cells next door. The adults pop in to drop off a special bee bread snack, a little home cooking for the hive's future hard-working flyers.
It's amazing, isn't it? So bees are really, really well organised. They really, really work hard, and they make those little hexagons so that they can put the grubs in there and feed them honey. Now, did you know that a bee, if they're going to make just 1 jar's worth of honey, the bees need to go to about 1 million flowers. 1 million visits to flowers. And that will give them enough nectar to make 1 jar's worth of honey. And to do that, they need to fly for miles and miles and miles. Not all at once, but when you add all of the miles together that all of the bees do to make 1 jar of honey, you will find that they have flown about 25,000 miles. 25,000 miles. Do you know how far it is around the world if you started in Cumnor and then you went all the way round and ended up at Cumnor again? That's about 25,000 miles. So it's an awful long way, an awful lot of hard work just to make 1 jar of honey. I love bees, really, really enjoy looking at them and enjoy thinking about how hard working they are and the amazing things that they manage to do. So I wonder if we've got anything to learn from bees. I wonder how hard working we can be like the bees. Have a think about teamwork as well. The bees live in a colony together in their beehive and they work together really, really well. So try and be a bit more like the bees. Work really, really hard, cooperate with the rest of your class, work well and work together. Brilliant. Well done. Have a lovely, lovely week and I will see you very, very soon. Be careful. Bye.